Hi, hi, hi. How are you guys? How are you guys? Jumped on a little early, but that's okay to give you enough time to jump on board. Let me know if you can hear me and see me. Say hi in the comments. Tag your business besties and accountability partners. Let's get the conversation started. I'll give you guys 1 more minute just to get yourself situated. Make sure, as usual, to have pen and paper. We always need to take notes when we are doing these live trainings so that you remember what we are talking about. And of course, as I go through the conversation, be sure to ask me any questions that you have in the comments. Today, we're talking about pricing for profit because everybody wants to make a profit in their business. Everybody wants to make a profit. Let me know if that is true or not in the comments. Everybody wants to make a profit. You are here, you are listening because you have a business, and one of your goals for this month, this week, this quarter, this year is to ensure that you make a profit as you rightfully deserve, right? Now, making a profit for your business does not just happen over time. It does not happen overnight, it happens over time. But you have to put certain things in place in order to set up your business to make a profit. And one of those main things that you have to consider, obviously, is your pricing, right? How did you come up with the pricing that you currently have in your business? And does it make sense? Does the current price that you have make sense in order for you to make a profit? And when you're thinking about your profit, there's or even your pricing, I should say, there's so many other factors you need to take into consideration. So before we jump into, just tell me hello in the comments, give me some hearts, give me some love, let me know that you're hearing me and you're seeing me. I'm Adana Austin. I am your business coach and consultant, and I work with high end entrepreneurs like yourself to get very clear on your goals, identify your ideal clients, and develop the strategies to grow your business. And today we're talking about pricing for profit. So, as usual, guys, have your pen and paper ready. Let's dive into it. So, the first thing I want to tell you, which I always think is the most important thing when I'm talking about pricing, is guys, you do not want to undercharge. You do not want to price so low because you're hoping that if you price low, you are going to attract more people. That is a horrible strategy. And if you're doing it today, you are going to stop. You're also not going to price really low just because you're brand new in business and nobody knows who you are, nobody knows that you exist. That is also not a strategy. It doesn't matter if you have been in business 1 month or you've been in business a year or been in business 5 years, right? Undercharging is not a strategy. So if you know you're guilty of doing that, and a lot of times that undercharging comes because you have to do some mindset work, because you don't believe in yourself, you don't believe in your offer, you're not in tune with your ideal clients, you're operating maybe based on a little fear, um, and desperation. No, no judgment, because we've all been through it. You're not alone, but we're not undercharging. And I just wanted to start off the conversation by saying that we are not undercharging. Write that in the comments. We are not undercharging, right? We are not doing that. So when you're determining your pricing for your business, you have to take a few things into consideration. And how a product based business will price is going to be a little different from how a service based business is priced. So tell me in the comments, are you a product based business or a service based business, or are you a combination of both of them? Because some people have a combination of both, right? They have services, but they're also providing a product, and that's fine, right? But how a product based business and a service based business usually prices is usually a little different. With a product based business, it's a little easier because you just have to take into consideration your cost price, right? What does that mean? Once you're selling something, whether you're making something for yourself or you're ordering stuff and then reselling it, you have to take things into consideration. So you have to take into consideration all the overhead charges, right? Whether you're operating from home. And again, guys, this misconception of I am operating from home, so I don't need to take into consideration my mortgage or my rent is wrong. You have to take those things into consideration because that is your home base. Yeah, that's your business base as well. Even if it's a quarter or a third of your mortgage, you want to take that into consideration for your pricing. Yeah, you want to take into consideration things like, and I have it written right, like your gas or your electric, your internet. If you have staff, your packaging, your rent, your branding and marketing, if you're running ads or anything like that, your transport, whether that transport is to deliver the product or service or whether that transport is you going and collecting it, right? Every single thing that goes into the production of your product has to be taken into consideration. Whether that ribbon is $5 or 50 cents, it has to be taken into consideration, right? When you are determining your price. When we had our flower shop, the way we were determining our price would be based on how many flowers we are using, how many other byproducts we're using, how much ribbon, how much spray, how much everything, right? How much is the basket, how much is the base, how much is the transport, how much is the every single thing, not just the cost of the flowers, right? Not just the cost of the flowers. And obviously, you may have a different price if you are buying wholesale as opposed to if you're buying one off stuff, right? That's why sometimes you might see some businesses selling the exact same thing and their pricing is so very drastic. And one of the reasons it may be so drastic is because one company might be buying wholesale and another company may not be in a position to buy wholesale. So therefore, their profit margins are going to look different. Therefore, how they price their offers are going to look different. Does that make sense? Give me a one in the chat if it's making sense. Does that make sense to you guys? Right? You have to take all of the things into consideration, all of your overhead charges, right? Do not assume that, well, I don't have to put in my internet. Yes, you have to put in your internet because you're using your internet to talk to your customers, right? You're using your water. If you're using water to do something for your offers, to put together your stuff, you have to take that into consideration. You're using your electricity, you're using your space, a room in your house or a corner in your house. That is something you need to take into consideration when you are pricing. And this is how you price for profit, right? Think about it, a plumber. Now, a plumber may say, well, all right, what I'm using is $20 for this. My transport might be $10. My, you know what I mean? My whatever else might be another $10, and it comes up like $30. But would it make sense for a plumber to charge you $30 to come to your home to fix something? No, it would not. Therefore, they will charge about $150, right? Because they also have to take into consideration all the things that they need, all the tools, all the resources that they need to use in order to be able to satisfy whatever it is the challenges that their ideal customers have. So when you're thinking about pricing for profit, I want you to think about three things. I want you to think about what are your competitors charging? What are your competitors charging? This is how you determine what price you are going to charge, right? This is one of the ways, right? And everything that you do, you have to take it with a pinch of salt because there are pros and cons. But the first thing you're going to do is decide, do your market research. How much are my competitors charging, right? Because you don't want to undercharge and you don't want to overcharge. You want to know what is the market value of that thing. And it may not be the exact same thing, but it may be something that is very, very similar to what you are currently charging. And this is service based and product based, right? What is the market charging? That will give you an idea of around where you need to be, where your middle ground might be. Again, I say, guys, when you're doing this, if you're using the market base to determine your price, you want to take it with a pinch of salt because again, you don't know if what their overheads are like. You don't know if they have staff in the background. You don't know um if they are ordering wholesale or you know what I mean. You don't know, but it's a good starting point. Have you ever looked at what your competitors are charging in order for you to determine where you should start off with your pricing scale? Give me a two if you've ever looked at what your competitors are charging, right? Look at what they are charging for you to start to determine, okay, where should I start? So you look at where your competitors are starting. The other thing you can do is ask your audience how much they are willing to pay. Again, right? Again, with a pinch of salt, but it's a good starting point because you are engaging with your audience. You are getting a sense of what they want to pay. Of course, most of them are going to say the lower end. Give them options. If you want to leave it as an open-ended question or you want to give them choices, if they want to pay between 50 and 100, 200 to 300, 500 to 600, whatever that case may be, ask your audience what they are willing to pay and be very, very specific about what they will be receiving in exchange so that they can give you an informed answer, right? They can give you an informed answer. Again, you're taking that information and also the information from the research you did with your competitors to give you a starting price of where you should be, to give you a starting price of where you should be. Right? Does that make sense? Give me a three if that makes sense. That is just a starting price. Right? Because a lot of times what I see entrepreneurs do, they start their businesses and they just drop a price. And I'm like, where did you get this price? And they're like, well, I just feel. I'm like, yeah, but what does the market say? What does your audience say? How much did it cost you to put together this thing? You have to take all of those things into consideration when you are pricing in order to make a profit, because you're not pricing in order to break even. If you're pricing in order to break even, you're going to struggle. You want to price in order to make a profit. But in order to get to that pricing, you need to make a few steps. Yes? So the market value as well as engaging with your audience to ask them how much they are willing to pay. The third thing, as we said before, is obviously taking into consideration all of your overheads, all of the overheads, big and small, whether that's your transport, your internet, your water, your rent, your everything. You want to take in all of your overhead costs to determine what can I charge. And when you're thinking about your overhead costs, I want you to also factor in how much you want to pay yourself. How much do I want to pay myself per week, per quarter, or per month? You want to factor all of that in. How much do I want to pay my staff, whether they are working full time or part time in your business? You want to take all of those things into consideration when you are pricing your offers. Give me a four if you pay yourself. Give me a four if you pay yourself, a zero if you don't pay yourself. Give me a four if you pay yourself in the comments, a zero if you do not pay yourself, because that factors into your pricing. Because it makes no sense that you are putting offers out there with a price. People are buying, yes, but you can't even pay yourself a salary. You can't even reinvest in your business because you are just breaking even. That is not how we build successful businesses, and we are in the habit of building successful businesses. So give yourself a four, give me a four if you are paying yourself, because you need to take that into consideration. The other thing is the value or the transformation that your audience will experience once they buy this thing from you. And this is usually reserved for service based. You have this is usually reserved for service based businesses. What is the value of when somebody comes to you as an accountant or a social media manager or a coach or a business consultant or a virtual assistant? how is their lives going to be changed? How much is that valued? What is the value of that transformation? You want to take that into consideration when you are determining your pricing, right? And again, that affects how much you're willing to pay yourself, how much you want to pay yourself, how much you want to pay your staff. Yeah, making sense, guys? All of these things you need to take into consideration when you are pricing. What is the value? How is your audience life going to be changed? Are they going to look better, feel better? Are they going to make more money? Are they going to get more time to spend with their family and friends? Are they like what is the transformation that is going to happen in their life? What is the value of that transformation in their life? Right? That is how you can determine, that is part of how you can determine the pricing that you charge, the price that you charge in order to make a profit. Give me a five if that's making sense. We went through plenty already. Yes, 60 minutes in. Give me a five if that's making sense. What is the value? How are their lives going to be changed? And guys, when you think about a product based business as opposed to a service based business, when you are determining your price, you can either determine your profit by a percentage or a fixed cost. There is actually no right or wrong way. You can determine that for yourself. So some people might say, okay, it costs me $100 to put together this particular thing for my audience. I want to make a profit. I want to make a 10% profit off of everything. So I'm going to add 10% to everything that I put out in my store, right? Or you can say, you know what, I want to make like $50 off of everything that I sell. So I'm going to add $50 to it. So you sell it for 150. You understand, guys? There's no right or wrong way, but you should be adding some kind of markup to your offers so that you can ensure that you are making a profit, right? You can either determine it by a percentage or you can determine it by a fixed cost. Whatever floats your boat, once you are doing it, that is the most important thing. Give me a six if that's making sense. That is the most important thing, whether you're doing a percentage or a markup or a fixed amount, right? You want to determine some type of markup, right? One of the other things that you want to consider is your time. Now, you know, we always have these conversations about you don't want to exchange time for money. And while that is very true, depending on the type of business that you have, you need to also factor in your time. So, for example, for me, if I am doing a training with a corporation or organization or something, I factor in my time because the time is not just how much time I'm going to take to train your people, but also the time that I take to prepare the material to train your people, or the time I will take after the training to talk to your audience, right? Because sometimes you may have mentorship afterward, after the fact, and all that kind of thing. So you want to take all of those things into consideration. Your time is also very important depending on the type of business. Some people go as far as saying that, you know, I am charging like $600 per hour for my time. You either can charge per hour or you can charge per project. Again, it is all depending on what your goal for your business is. It all depends on what the goal for your business is. Am I charging per hour? The time it takes me to do this thing, the time it takes me to prepare, the time it takes me to follow up after. Am I doing that or am I charging per project? Knowing as you, even if you're charging per project, that on average, your projects usually take you 6 hours. So they kind of tied in together, right? So my a project usually takes me on average 6 hours. So for 6 hours, I am going to charge X, Y, and Z, or per hour, I am going to charge X, Y, and Z. Does that make sense, guys? Give me a 7 if that makes sense. Yeah, per hour or per project. You can determine which one makes sense based on the type of business that you have. Guys, when you're thinking about your pricing, I cannot stress this enough. You're not just pulling a number off the top of your head. You have to be very strategic in how you are pricing your offers, right? Pricing your services and pricing your product, because at the end of the day, you want to make a profit. You do not just want to break even. So you need to take all of these different factors into play when you are determining the price, because off of everything that you sell, right? Off of everything that you sell, you are supposed to be making a profit, whether that's a percentage or whether that's a flat fee, right? After you pay yourself, after you pay your staff, after you pay all your bills, after you pay your rent, your mortgage, your light, your internet, you paid all your travel expenses, after you paid all of those things, you want to make a profit. You want to have enough money that you can put aside. You want to have enough money that you can create an emergency fund. You want to have enough money that you can reinvest into your business, or you can reinvest into something else, right? So that you can, or reinvest even in your education. You want a price so that you are making a profit. You want a price so that you're not having butterflies every single month determining, oh my gosh, is how am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to survive? How am I going to make ends meet? Right? So you want to take all of those things into consideration when you are pricing. Yeah, so let's just do a really, really quick recap. You want to look at the market rate with a pinch of salt, because you don't know what's going on with them behind the scenes, right? We want to look at the market rates. We want to be able to ask your audience a question to get feedback from them. And you also want to consider what is the value of the transformation that they are going to experience once they have bought from you. Those are three things that you can consider when you are determining your price for profit. You want to take into consideration all your overhead costs in addition to how much you want to pay yourself, right? And you can also determine your profit by adding a percentage or by adding a fixed amount to everything that you are selling. Does that make sense? Now, when you're pricing, like with everything else in your business, you have to have a goal. Eh? What is the goal of this thing that I'm trying to do? What is the profit I'm trying to make? So every month I want to make $20,000 in profits. In profits. That is not I want to make $20,000. I want to make $20,000 in profit. What is the goal? In order for me to make $20,000 in profit, I need to sell X amount of product, or I need to have X amount of clients who are paying me a certain amount of money, right? That money is going to cover all of my overheads, including my salary, and allow me to make a profit of $20,000. That's why I encourage you guys to get pen to paper. Let the numbers give you some butterflies. Get excited, get scared. That's okay. That is your motivation to continue to push forward and to continue to test what is out there, because at some point in time you may have to raise your prices, and that's okay. But you obviously don't want to undercharge, because we have this saying in Trinidad, right? Good thing not cheap, and cheap thing not good. Because when you undercharge and you really come out with a very low offer, it skews the perception of what people think your offer or your product is. If it's too low, what do you think people are going to think? People are going to think the value is not really good, right? If everybody else in the industry is charging $150 and you come and you charge $75, what are people going to think? People are going to think your ideal clients, I should say, not just random people, but your ideal clients are going to think that the value of the thing that you're making is not up to par, that you may be using substandard material, or that you are actually, if it's a service, that you are actually not giving them value for their money. So you don't want to undercharge your audience, right? That is not a great pricing strategy, and it's definitely not going to help you to reach the profit margins that you want for your business. Because as I said to you guys at the beginning, right, getting to that profit in your business happens over time, not overnight. It happens over time. Once you've established yourself in the market, once you have built up your community of buyers, once you have built up a community who are engaging with your business and referring your business to others and that kind of thing, then you will start to experience the profits. But you have to make sure that you have the things in place to receive those profits. And one of those things is to make sure that your pricing is on par. Now, obviously, with your pricing as well, hi Shannon, obviously, with your pricing as well, according to the type of business that you have, you may have multiple things to sell, right? You may have multiple offers, and you have to determine based on the multiple things that I have to sell or the multiple offers, how does that fit into my overall pricing strategy? So let's talk about that. If I want to make $20,000 a month and I have three things to sell and they are all at different price ranges, what I usually do, let's say they're low, they're mid, and they're high, just for the sake of argument, right? What I would usually say to you is, in your business, based on how your customers usually buy from you, right? How many high ticket items do you think you need to sell? How many low mid ticket items you need to sell? And how many high ticket and low ticket items? Sorry, I'm mixing it up, right? High, mid, and low. How many of each one of those items do you need to sell every day, every week, or every month in order to get you to that point where you are actually making the amount of money that you want to make? How much do you have to actually sell for each one of those things to get you to make that amount as well as to make a profit? That is how specific you have to get when you're thinking about your pricing. That is how specific you have to get. So if I have a low ticket item, which may be a digital product, and then I have a mid ticket item, which may be a 6 week program, and then I have a high ticket item, which may be a 6 month program, right? I have to determine to myself, okay, I need to have three people in my 6 month program. I need to have 10 to 15 people in my mid ticket program, and I need to have 20 people buying my low ticket program in order for me to make X amount of money every single month. That is how granular you have to get. And guys, while I know it might sound like a lot of work right now, right? Once you get into the habit of doing that in your business, it becomes like second nature to you, because off the bat you would know, okay, I need to sell X amount of these things, so I need to sell X amount of these things in order for me to hit my profit margin, in order for me to make the type of money that I want to make, in order for me to be able to pay myself, in order for me to be able to reinvest in my business, in order for me to be able to put aside money for an emergency fund, in order for me to pay for my education or whatever else is happening in my business development and that kind of thing. Yeah. So you want to take all of those things into consideration. Give me an 8 if this is making sense to you guys. Give me an 8 if it's making sense. And go ahead and ask me any questions in the comments. Feel free to ask questions about your own pricing if you're struggling, if you have a question of how you start a price, how you add on your percentage or your fixed amount, how you ask how you ask your audience questions to get feedback from them, how you do the market research to figure out what is the market value. Feel free to jump in and ask any questions, because this is where I'm going to answer your questions for you. You want to think about the market value. You want to think about your goal. You want to think about the cost-based pricing, and you want to think about the value-based pricing. Do you see the difference in how a product-based business and a service-based business can price? How there is a difference in how you determine what that price is? Just give me a yes or no in the chat. There's a marked difference. Most service-based businesses, when I say service-based businesses, you all understand what I mean, right? So like a coach, a consultant, let's say an accountant, a lawyer, a social media manager, a VA, those are service-based businesses, right? And okay, that's no problem, right? Those are service-based businesses. And most of the time, they charge based on the value. They charge based on the value, or what I like to call the transformation that their audience will experience once they have hired you, or once they have, they've bought your services. What is the value? How is their life going to be changed? What is the results that they are going to experience? Are they going to be able to make more money? Are they going to be able to live a healthier life? Let's say you're a wellness coach or something like that, or you're a dietitian or something like that. Are they going to be healthier? You know what I mean? What is the transformation that they are going to experience? So most service-based businesses, while yes, they still have to take into consideration what their overhead costs are going to be because they're operating from somewhere. I'm a service-based business. I still take into consideration what my lights are going to be, what my internet is going to be, what my rent, because I'm using an office in my house, a percentage of my rent, or it could be a half, a quarter, whatever that is. I still take that into consideration. I also take into consideration how much I want to pay myself every week, as well as how much I pay my virtual assistants every week and every month. I take all of those things into consideration when I am pricing my offers, because I want to make sure that when I price my offer and I put something out there, my goal, I put something out and I say, okay, I am charging, for argument's sake, $500, right, for this service. I'm charging $500, right? I need to make sure that I make $5,000 in order to cover all of my expenses and still make a profit. Therefore, I need to have at least 10 people signed up for this particular program so that I can meet that target. Does that make sense? Yeah, give me a 9 if that makes sense, right? I need to have at least 10 people. So when I always say to you guys, don't say I just want more clients or I just want more money, right? I just want to make more. What is that more? Exactly how much is that? Get really intimate with the dollars and cents. Get intimate with the amount that you want to make. I need to make $5,000. Therefore, I need 10 people in this program so that I can make that $5,000. That $5,000 is not my break even, but that $5,000 includes my profit, because I need $3,000 to pay everything, and then that $2,000 is going to be my profit. And that is how deep you have to go. And as I said, if you've never done this before, that's okay. I can help you. However, it may feel daunting when you first start, but once you get into the habit of doing it, for every time that you have to put out an offer with a price, it becomes easier because you understand this is my profit margin. This is how much I need to make. This is how much I need to charge. This is the percentage I need to mark up. This is how much I want to add on. This is similar to calculating how much a particular product I need to sell in order to make my monthly goal. Exactly, exactly, exactly. That is exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, that is exactly what I'm talking about, Melissa. Right? So you want to put pen to paper, get your calculators out, and really calculate what that is. That is going to help you determine the price that you want to put your offers are, and that's also going to help you get to that profit margin at a much faster pace, right? You don't need to spend 5 years just breaking even. There's no reason for you to spend 5 years breaking even. The first year or two, yes, you might be breaking even because you're still trying to position yourself, you're still trying to build community, you're still testing out the market, right? But there's no reason if you're in business for 5 years, 10 years, you're still breaking even. It means that you have not really figured out what is the formula for your pricing. What is your pricing strategy that will allow you to make a profit? And sometimes that may look like increasing your pricing. Sometimes, not all the time, because at some point in time, you may have to increase your prices, right? So it may look like increasing your pricing. And guys, always be careful about how you go about increasing your pricing. Or sometimes it may look like lowering your overhead costs, right? So you have to take all of those things into consideration. It's not always about increasing your prices, but sometimes it may look like increasing your prices, and then sometimes it may look like, how do I decrease my overhead costs so that more of the money is staying with me, or I'm making more of a profit and the money is not just going out, right? And some of those costs, guys, those are a lot of you may be having hidden costs. So, like if you are signing up for subscriptions and all of those things, I do that at least once a year. I look at all the subscriptions that I am signed up to that come out of my account every single month, and I determine, did I get value for this? Is this making sense? This 29.99 that I'm putting out every month, am I actually using this tool enough? Is it giving me a return on my investment? And if the answer is no, then I remove it, right? I get rid of it so that that 29.99, it might seem like a little bit, but every drop in the bucket goes towards your profit, right? And I will determine that no, I don't need this service anymore. I don't need this subscription anymore. I'm not using it. So therefore, I can get rid of it. And now I can recoup or keep that money in my stream of income and get me closer to my profit margin. Give me a 10 if that's making sense, guys. Does that make sense? If you're paying for, just use it. If you're paying for Canva and you use Canva 3 times a year, that makes absolutely no sense. If you're paying for a service, it means you have to be at least using that service once, two, three, 4 times a week in order for it to make sense. You have to be getting value out of it. You have to, you really need to have a really good relationship with your money, and don't take those things for granted at all. So if right now, before we close off, if right now you are struggling with your pricing, go and do some market research. Look at what your competitors are charging. Take that with a pinch of salt, because obviously we never know what's going on in the back end. We don't know what their tools, their resources. We don't know what what is going on with them. But you want to go and do your market research and look at your competitors so that you can get a sense of what the market is usually paying. You're not going to undercharge yourself, right? Because good thing not cheap, and cheap things not good. We all know that saying, right? We're not going to undercharge yourself. You're going to ask your audience for feedback. Ask them for feedback, again with a pinch of salt. But again, it just means for you to get some sense of where they are at. Yes. And then charge your value, charge for the value, charge for the transformation that they are going to experience once they have purchased for you. You can also decide for your product-based businesses if you are going to have a percentage markup or if you're going to have a flat rate markup, meaning for everything that you sell, if you are going to add 10% or if you're going to add 100, there's no $100. There's no right or wrong way. It really depends on your business and what you feel most comfortable with, right? What if the market price is a bit higher than the budget of the individuals in your area or community? then your issue is your ideal client. Because if the market price, let's talk about that. So if the market price is $100, right? But the people that you want to sell to can only afford $50, then you need to change your ideal clients. Because if you are selling it at $50, are you making a profit? That's the question you need to ask yourself. If you are selling it at $50, are you making a profit or are you just breaking even? You more concerned about them or you more concerned about you? Are you making a profit if you sell it below market price? And again, when you're talking about market price, as I always tell you guys, take it into consideration. The people that you're comparing yourself to, or the people that you're doing the market research, right, your competitors, are they buying wholesale or are they buying retail? Right? Because that can determine why their prices may be different from yours as well. Right? Does that make sense? Are you making a profit if you undercharge? If the people, and I always say, listen, everybody cannot afford you. Everybody cannot afford you. Everybody cannot afford your products or services. And that is okay. You have to be okay with that because you're trying to sell to a specific niche of people. If my price is at $3,000 to work with me and all you can afford is $500, then you may not be my ideal client. That's one approach, right? So I'm not selling to you. Or I can say, all right, this part of my market can only afford $500. Therefore, let me come up with a solution that is $500. Whatever you pay $500 for is not going to be the equivalent of what somebody pays $3,000 for. So there's a marked difference in what they will receive. There's a marked difference in what they will receive. Does that make sense? Give me 11 if that makes sense. So you can decide if, I remember I talked to you about having a low price offer, a mid price offer, and a high price offer, right? But again, you have to know your ideal clients. You have to know your ideal client. So what you charge $3,000 for cannot be the same value for something that you charge $500 for. And you have to be able to differentiate because when you're having the conversation with your clients, you have to be able to differentiate for $3,000. This is what you are going to receive X, Y, Z, A, B, C, A to F. For $500, you are going to receive A and B. Right, yes, a product suitable to the client's needs and their price line. And guys, there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that because we always discuss that your ideal clients may be at different stages of the buying process. So you want to give them options. That's why you may have a low ticket, a mid ticket, and a high ticket offer. You want to give them options. So instead of them just saying, oh my God, I can't afford it and walk away, they have an option of buying from you. Don't let anybody make you undercharge though, guys. There's a huge difference in having offers, multiple offers, as opposed to undercharging. There is a difference. And you want to make sure that that difference is very, very clear. Do not undercharge with the hope of attracting your ideal clients. That is not how it is going to work. That is not how you are going to get your profits. In fact, you're going to struggle to grow because when you undercharge, you attract really cheap clients, right? And those clients are not going to move with you when your business moves. Meaning, when you decide, okay, I've charged this amount for the last 4 years, I'm not making a profit. Now I need to, I need to increase my pricing. They're not going to move from you because they are cheap. One of the other things when you're thinking about pricing, guys, is to be very, very careful about setting up your business as a discount business. Do not set up your business as a discount business, right? And this is part of your pricing as well. Let me explain what I mean by that. It is okay to have discounted prices. It's okay to have a sale every now and again, right? but you don't want to set up your business like every Monday morning that get a discounted price, get a discounted price, get a discounted price. Because if you're doing that again, you're attracting very, very cheap clients. And you don't want to do that. That is good, actually doing more harm to your business than good. Because you may be having a discount because you're trying to get product off of, you're trying to get product off of your hands so that you make space for new product. That's fine. But you're not going to do that every Monday morning, guys. Because then people are going to say, let me just wait until she has a sale. Or let me wait until she has a discount. And they would not be willing to pay your full price for things when you actually have it out. So having a discount and having a sale is fine sometimes, but you don't want to set up your business so every time you put out an offer, it's a discount or a sale. No. Give me a 12 if that makes sense. Give me a 12 if that makes sense, because I want to tell you about another pricing tactic. It's a sales tactic that a lot of people use, right? Give me a 12 if that makes sense. However, right, there is a sales tactic that a lot of people use where they will say, and this is different to telling your audience you have a payment plan or something like that. That is completely different, and that's also part of a pricing strategy, right? To have a payment plan so that in case the price is a little high, it gives your audience a little leeway, your ideal clients a little leeway so that they can pay in parts and still receive the value. That is usually happens for high ticket items. So like my price profit acceleration that I have going on now is $2,000, but you can pay in two parts, $1,000 each, right? And that is a great thing. That's fine. However, there's a sales tactic that some people use where they would say they create some type of urgency and they say, get in by 12 o'clock today at this price. The price goes up midnight tonight. So you can get in today at $199. The price goes up tonight at $500. Right? I'm sure you've sent me yes, some of you've seen that already. Get in right now for $199. The price goes up tonight, or the price goes up on Saturday to $500. And the difference between the two prices are very, very huge. It's not usually $50 or $100. It's usually very huge. Tell me yes, if you've seen that. That is a pricing strategy. It's a sales strategy that a lot of people use, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But it is a strategy because, again, pen to paper. What they would have done was say, okay, I actually need to make $20,000, right? I can make $20,000 if I get, yes, quotes and standards. If I get 10 people to come in at 199, right? Or I get 20 people to come in at 199, and then I get 5 people to come in at $500, and I will still meet my financial goal. That is how that works. Yes, it will, Melissa. Yes, it can work for skincare products as well that do not cost $100. Yes. Yeah. So again, they're still doing the math. They're still doing the math. At 199, I need to get 20 people in at 199, and then I just need 5 people in at $500, and I will make my financial goal. They still have done the math. They still have put together the dollars and cents because they know exactly. Remember, they start off with a goal, right? The goal is to get 20 people at 199 and 5 people at $500. Yes, making sense? So that is a pricing strategy that is tied into a marketing and sales strategy that a lot of people use, right? It has to be very, very strategic, guys. You're not just pelting that out for pelting that out sake. It has to be done very, very strategically. It has to make sense. And it has to be done with some type of urgency. So usually it's for a very short period of time. It's not usually for 6 months or 3 months or weeks on end and that kind of thing. It's usually done for a very short period of time in order for that to make sense. And a lot of times it's not repeated over and over and over and over again. They usually do that around, like, let's say Black Friday, Mother's Day, them kind of things, Valentine, all of those kind of events. Yeah. I hope you'll make a lot of notes, eh? So you don't want to set up your business like a discount business. Now, when you go into certain stores, they have like a discount rack, right? Y'all know they're still making profit off of that discount rack, right? Y'all understand that, right? Tell me yes or no. Y'all know they're still making profit off of that discount rack, right? It could be a loss leader, but they're still making something off of it. Yeah. So as you move forward today and you're thinking about your business and you're thinking about how can I price my business, how can I set up my business to make a profit, you can think about your offers. You can think about how can I create a low offer, a mid offer, and a high ticket offer and sell those things, be able to very clearly communicate the difference between the offers, make sure that I am not undercharging, make sure that I am charging competitively by doing my market research, by talking to my audience, making sure that I am charging based on the value or the transformation that my audience is going to experience once they buy this thing from me, because obviously that transformation is going to be communicated with them through your messaging, guys, right? That transformation is communicated through your messaging. So they know that if they spend $3,000 with me, right, they are going to make that back 3 times. They're going to make you spend $3,000 with me, you're going to make $15,000. That is the value. You are going to make more. You're going to make back this $3,000 and some more. That is the value. That is the value. You understand? You spend $2,000 with me, you're going to make $6,000. That is the value, right? So you want to be able to make sure that you are communicating that value as well. And that is how you kind of figure out how to come up with your pricing. You don't want to do discounting. You want to take into consideration all of your overhead costs when you're doing your pricing, your transport, your lights, your internet, your mortgage, your water, your staff, how much you are paying yourself as well has to take into consideration. And guys, if you're not paying yourself, please start to do that this week, right? You don't have to pay yourself thousands of dollars to start off. I started off by paying myself $100 a week, and eventually that increased, obviously, right? But pay yourself something from your business account to your personal account. Make sure it is recorded as well. Pay yourself. And when you're thinking about your pricing, you want to make sure that once I charge this thing, I am able to pay all of my overhead costs as well as pay myself. What is the minimum I can pay myself, and what is the maximum I want to pay myself every single week or every single quarter? Not quarter, every single fortnight or every single month. Again, it is getting into practice in doing these things in your business, right? You can either charge a percentage or you can charge a fixed amount. So I can charge 10% on everything, or I can charge $100 on everything that I am selling, right? You can either charge per hour or you can charge based on per project, right? And that's usually for service-based businesses, per hour or per project. It has to make sense. It has to make sense, right? We're not pulling prices off the top of our head. It has to make sense. There's a calculation for this madness, right? And as usually do, low, mid, and high tickets. Yes. Give me a 20 if this information was good for you. Give me a 20 if this information was good for you. 20, 20, 20 if this information was good for you. Yes. It was good for you. 20. Lovely. So, guys, as usual, I just want to invite you to Profit Acceleration. I'm dropping it in the comments on my Facebook, on my Instagram. It should be on the link in my page. If not, I'll put it in the link on my Instagram. And it's really working with me for 6 weeks so that we can do a full audit of your business and we can set up your business for profit. So, we're going to look at your current pricing, we're going to look at your current offers, we're going to look at how you're putting it out. We have to look back in order to move forward, in order to determine how you're going to make that profit. We're going to go really nitty gritty with your dollars and cents so that we can set up your business for profit. So that once you work with me for that 6 weeks, right, you should start to see a profit in your business once you implement the strategies that we speak about. You're going to hear me talking about profit acceleration over the next few days. Again, ask me any questions, jump into my DM, jump into my WhatsApp, leave a comment under these videos, and I'll be glad to give you so much more information about it. I'm going to leave the link so that you can read more about it. Check your emails as well. You're going to be getting it there. But that is what we're going to do in a nutshell. We're going to really do, and it's not, it's a one-on-one session, right? It's for 6 weeks. It's not group, it's one-on-one. And it's $2,000. There's a payment plan of $1,000. You pay $1,000 to start, and then you pay $1,000 at the end of 4 weeks. And we move forward. We look at your offers. We create new offers if you have to create new offers, because some of you don't have enough offers. We break down some of the offers that you do have. We look at your pricing. We look at how much you actually want to make to determine that your pricing makes sense, right? If it's not making dollars, it's not making sense, right? And we put out your offers to make sure that you are making a profit in your business. So that is what Profit Acceleration is. We actually start on April 1st, right? For those of you who want to know, so you have a little bit of time to get your coins together. We start on April 1st so that you have time to do whatever you need to do in order to join the program. Yeah. So, guys, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for your questions. Thanks for engaging. Thank you for being here. Right. As usual, if you have any questions at all, jump into my DM, jump into my WhatsApp, leave a comment on any of the videos, and I'll be really, really happy to answer any more questions. See you next week, Monday at 7 p.m., where we go live again to talk about your business. Guys, have a great day, and I will talk to you again soon. Be safe, and let's get to work, guys. Let's get to it, right? Bye.